Hello and welcome to another stream of the English Matura Express. My name is Chris and today we're doing a demonstration exam. Hello again. As I've already mentioned, today is demonstration exam day. And today our topic is media and communication, as you can see here on this sheet. We're gonna start with an exam about the subtopic mass media and young children. As always, we're gonna have a quick look at the exam first. And then we're doing the monologue, dialogue, follow-up discussion, and at first, of course, the introduction, but yeah. So let's have a look at this exam. As always, this exam is structured as every other exam we're doing here. So you already know the structure, but we start with the introduction. You will be asked some questions for your future plans, what you did in the past, why you're doing the A-levels, and so on. Then we head on to task 1, which is about mass media. Task 1, just remember, task 1 is a monologue. It is now 4 minutes, it's not 3 to 4 minutes. That's a new regulation here. So task 1, 4 minutes. In this case, the situation is as follows. You are a social media expert who does counseling for families. You have been asked to hold a talk to a group of parents, which are the examiners, about mass media, its benefits and hazards. So very current topic, and you have to talk about the following things or aspects. What mass media is, so very general at first, the different types of mass media, the benefits, and the hazards of mass media. That's all about the first task, the monologue, and then we're going to deal with the task 1, which is about the influence of social media on children. And remember, task 1 is a dialogue, so there are two people involved in this. So be sure to also ask questions and respond, of course, to the answers to the questions you've been given. So dialogue, therefore role play. In this case, it's all about how social media can influence our children, your children, children in general. And in this case, the dialogue differs from the monologue because you now have an article to work with, to work with, which is about the dangers of social media to kids. Of course, you had your preparation time beforehand, so you were able to skim, and read through the article and make some notes. You can use your notes, of course, during the exam, which is, I think, quite helpful. Yes. And then, last but not least, we have the follow-up discussion. Generally, the follow-up discussion is all about the board of examiners asking you some questions. And remember, you're not in your role as an expert or counselor in this case anymore. And of course, they're asking you about the topic media and communication. At first, we're gonna look if we have any questions in our chat.
Wait. Sorry.
No, no questions so far.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the introduction.
Hi.
So, Maria, you want to do the A-levels, of course, since you're here today. Would you first introduce yourself and explain why you're doing the A-levels and what you did before and what your future plans are?
Okay. Hi, my name is Maria. I'm 20. No, I'm 20.
We have to wait. We need the microphone.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. Here.
This one?
Yes. And then.
Sorry. Okay. Once again, hi, hello, my name is Maria. I'm 25 years old. I used to work as a sales assistant, but I really want to become a primary teacher. And so, yeah, that's why I'm taking my A-level today, because I want to go to university.
Ah, yeah. So which subjects do you want to study, or do you have any plans, or?
I don't really know. Maybe languages, but I'm not sure yet. So I guess French would be interesting, or English. Yeah.
I think we have to turn it a bit down. Okay.
Okay.
So, whenever you're ready, you can start with your task 1, which is about mass media. Yeah, just if you need some time, it's okay. But then, if you don't, just start.
Okay, thanks. Dear parents, I am a social media expert and I would like to inform you about mass media. First, I am going to define the word mass media, then I will outline the different types of mass media, and then furthermore I would talk about the pros and the cons of mass media. So let's start with what mass media is. Mass media is communication, whether it is written or spoken or broadcasted, that reaches a large, so a big audience. And it's also a significant force in modern culture, because it kind of reflects and also creates culture, because we are surrounded by it all the time. And so it also shapes the way we are thinking, and yeah. And also the concept of the celebrity is kind of based on mass media, because through mass media thousands of people can be reached, and so people can be famous, or people can become famous. Yeah, the different types of mass media, we have like printed media, like newspapers and magazines, and we also have electronic media like television, radio, movies, and the internet. And the pros of mass media, of course, you can stay informed all around the clock, because it's always there, especially when we're talking about the internet. And it's also kind of relaxing to choose from the countless stations, I don't know, documentaries, or what do we have, sitcoms, soaps, cartoons. And yeah, it's quite entertaining, and so you can use it all day long. And there are also some cons or dangers to it. It is said that TV fastens bad nutrition, as there are many commercials about junk food and sweets, especially during children's program. And yeah, that could influence children in a bad way, so that it supports overweight or even obesity. And because of all the violence which is displayed, I mean, not in every movie, but in some movies, and yeah, it could lead to aggressive behavior. Yeah, and as I've already said, it shapes the way of thinking, and so we could also get easily manipulated, which is also a downside to mass media. because it kind of makes our reality. As I said, it shapes our way of thinking, and yeah, we just have to become aware of that, and I think then it's fine, because I am a communication expert, and I'd say it's a good device, or it's a good thing, mass media, but you have to be aware. And yeah, thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, I would be pleased to answer them.
So thank you for that very, very detailed talk. We're now going to talk about our moving forward to task 2, which is about the influence of social media on children. And I'd like to start with the question if you think that we should, as parents, watch our children, what they're doing on social media, or are there any tools that help us, maybe on Facebook, any settings we can, settings that we can adjust so that our children can't see anything, or how do we?
I think that's a very good question, but also it's kind of a moral question, because I think it's also a question of trust. So how much we trust our children, but also how much we trust the internet. So I think it's a good thing that children can use the internet to stay in contact, but as I've said, they have to be aware of it, or we as parents have to be aware of it, what they use on the internet and how they use it. And I think it's a good idea, yes it is, to kind of have a look at the privacy settings on Facebook, so where you can see how many people can actually access your photographs, your videos and whatsoever. So I think as parents, if the children don't, we really should have a look at this, but otherwise I don't think it's a good idea to look through all the messages, because I think that's privacy of the children. But yeah, to change the settings, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Do you think it is dangerous for children, maybe if they are considering cyberbullying or something like that? Have you thought about that, or do you think cyberbullying is something it should be considered, or?
Yeah, I think it should. I mean, like bullying itself, it is a big issue, especially during puberty, and also cyberbullying. I think it's also very, again, we have to be aware of it, because you never know who's sitting in front of a computer, and so maybe you feel more freely to post hate comments, so to comment on pictures in a mean way. And so I think we also have to talk about it, or teachers should talk about it in school, about cyberbullying, because I think, it is a real issue, because we see it all the time. Even, celebrities post mean comments or send, messages to each other that aren't really friendly, and so I think it's a big issue, and I think it could also lead to depression and even suicidal thoughts. I mean, I've read a lot of stories where because of cyberbullying, children they weren't able to deal with it anymore and they killed themselves. So it is a real issue.
Okay, so thank you for your interesting talk in task 2. We're now moving forward to the follow-up discussion. In this case, the board of examiner would ask you, but there is no board, of course, so I am the board of examiners in this case. About the general topic, media and communication. In this case, I'd like to ask you if you personally think that social media can help us stay friends with each other, or do you use it for some benefits, social media, or do you just use it to swipe through the feed, or?
I mean, I don't have social media. I write letters. No, I don't. I have social media like Facebook and Instagram, and I think it's a really good device to keep in contact, especially so keep in touch with people who are not in your surrounding neighborhood. So like people you met in your holidays and they are from a different country. So I think it's really a good device to keep contact to them. But again, if you don't know the people, as I've already said, you never know who's sitting behind the computer. And so it, especially with children, it could lead that adults write to minors and pretending that they are minors. So that's, I think, really a hazard to social media. But yeah, the fact that you can keep in touch with people, that's great. And that's why I use it, or just to look up some recipes, or to, look at pictures. But yeah, that's basically it, yeah.
So thank you for your interesting talk. We already said it, but now we're going to have a look at the exam. I made some notes during the exam, and all in all, I think it was a very good exam. She was able to talk freely. She was able to use different words. There wasn't that much repetition in there. So let's start with the introduction. Of course, the introduction is just like a warm-up, so that you kind of get into the English language. Otherwise, you will maybe be not that good at the monologue, or maybe search for different words. So the warm-up introduction was of course great. She introduced herself really good. And then task 1, I couldn't say any negative actually about task 1. She talked about every bullet point that was listed there and just made some notes, what she mentioned. So there was a broad variety of different types of mass media. Exactly the thing we want to hear from you in the oral exam. We want to hear everything you know, and she did a really good job by mentioning different types of mass media. Then the benefits of mass media. I just wrote one thing down that really struck my mind. So she mentioned the 24/7 usage of mass media, so you can access different information every time, in different places around the world. So no limitations given there. And then the hazards, of course, of mass media, which is quite interesting. And she mentioned TV fastens bad nutrition, for example, since they have a lot of advertisements in there, a lot of fast food chains like McDonald's or Burger King, or I don't know what else is out there. Then violence, which also leads to manipulation. Very interesting. So this point here. Then we're gonna move to task 2. Again, she mentioned things that are in the article. We had an interesting talk. I think it was not like a situation where I'd thought that I have to ask her because she doesn't know anything. So it was really, she was really talkative, and yeah, it was a relaxed conversation, I think, more than a exam. And we talked about, or she mentioned basically that the social media, the social media usage of children, and the kind of control that parents have or should have is a question of trust, of course. Parents need to be aware of what dangers or hazards are out there, and of course they should have a look at the privacy settings of their children's Facebook accounts in order to overview what they're doing, or to minimize violence or violent posts and so on. And then of course the follow-up discussion wasn't a problem anymore, so it was just fine having a relaxed talk. And yeah, that was it from the first oral exam, Mass Media and Young Children. And then we're gonna move to the next exam. I hope you can see it, yeah. It's better now. Which is about technology and mass media. Very important topic too. Without technology, we wouldn't have all the fancy social media stuff and news media, of course, too. Of course, the introduction, we will skip the introduction since the introduction is always the same. We're gonna jump right into the task 1. Forms of news media. So just keep in mind, the task 1 is really basic, but also keep in mind that you're the expert. So you're in the role of the expert. You're doing a presentation or a talk or something similar to that. So in this case, you work in the technology department of a well-known newspaper. You have been asked to hold a presentation in front of a group of interested people about the different forms of news media nowadays. Give a brief introductory talk to your colleagues about different forms of work, media, of different forms of news media, of course, nowadays. What should be covered? You should cover, or the examinee should cover, what news media is, different forms of news media and their pros and cons, how news media can best be used with modern means of technology. That's all about task 1. Then we're gonna move on to task 2, which is about digital news. After your talk, you open the discussion up to questions about the role of digital news nowadays. So, how do we use digital news? Yeah, how does it influence us? Of course, there's an article again. I forgot to mention at the first oral exam, we're gonna copy the links of those articles in the description below. After we finished our stream, so that you can prepare yourself and maybe go through the exam again. And of course, if you have questions, just ask in the live chat. I think we had a question, but I think it was successfully answered, or wasn't it?
It was just a comment. Thank you, Christine Kasenbacher. It was just well done, Maria.
Ah,
that's it.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Ah, I forgot. And then, of course, we're doing the follow-up discussion. Follow-up discussion about the same topic, media and communication. But of course, we, the Board of Examiners, always ask something different. So be prepared to just stay focused. If you have prepared your topic well enough, it won't be a problem. But now we're doing the second oral exam. We have Maria again here with us.
Here I am again.
And she is now prepared for this very interesting topic, technology in news media. So we already talked, we're gonna skip the introduction part. We're gonna jump right into task 1. So whenever you're ready, begin with task 1.
Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Technology Department of the Guardian. Today I will inform you about news media, about the various forms and with their pros and cons. And then I will talk about how the usage of news media can be optimized with modern means of technology. So, what is news media? News media focus on delivering news to the general public or to the target public. And news media include print media, like we are, The Guardian, and other newspapers and news magazines. Again, in the UK, we have two different kinds of newspapers. We have the broadsheets and the tabloids. Broadsheets, like we are, have more like a high quality. We have a bigger format and a lot of information about local and international politics and also economy and culture. But we are more expensive. And then we have the tabloids. In contrast, they have a smaller format, so they are, I'd say, handier to read. They are cheaper, but they have like simple language, and they mostly are concerned with stories about celebrities as well, and they really want to shock and entertain the reader. And but there is also a big sports part in it. So that are tabloids and broadsheets. But then what else do we have talking about news media? We have broadcasted news like radio and television. And then recently, of course, the internet. So there are online newspapers, online news blogs, and very convenient, lots of information. But be careful, because many of the or some of them are self-published news stories, and not everything that is on the internet is true. So I would recommend to have a look at if there's a name of an author and if there's a date where it was published. Because then probably it's not fake news, but you never know. So how can news media be best used with modern technology? I mean, I already talked about news online. It's very convenient to have it on your smartphone. But of course, for this, it has to be smartphone friendly. So it has to have a smartphone friendly format that you can easily read it on your way to work or to school. And there is also a news service on WhatsApp where news or the latest news can be sent to you through a WhatsApp message. I think that's also very convenient, especially because you can kind of specify in which news you are interested. So if it's more like about celebrities or politics, international politics, economy, whatever, and so you can get it all around the clock. And it's been an honor to inform you about news media, and thank you for your attention and interest.
Thank you for this. Yeah, again, very detailed monologue.
You're welcome.
And now we're gonna move straight into task task 2. Remember, that's a dialogue, role play, and in this case, task 2 is about digital news. So, you've already touched upon, in your monologue, you've already touched upon the topic of the usage of smartphones and the usage of smartphones, and then getting your news on your smartphone via WhatsApp. So, do you think with all that technology we have nowadays, do people still read newspapers, or will newspapers become extinct in the near future?
I don't. I think it's difficult to answer this question because, we cannot really say if it will be extinct. But I mean, as the importance of smartphones and the internet is growing, I think also the usage of smartphones and the internet for daily things like reading a newspaper is automatically growing again. As well, sorry. And so, we could say that I think in a few years maybe, because nowadays I think more like older people are reading a newspaper. Sorry to when I offend someone as old. I mean, a lot of young people also read newspapers, but mostly. So my parents, they read newspapers, printed newspapers, but I don't, and a lot of my colleagues don't, because we just prefer the online versions, because as I've said there, you can really choose what you're interested in, and so I think it's going to be gone someday.
But you've already also touched upon the topic of fake news.
Mm-hmm.
So since there is an overwhelming influx of news media and different agencies or different companies that label themselves as a newspaper or something like this, do you think it's dangerous for people that are following or use social media if a platform that is focused on fake news, do you think it's dangerous that people take it for real, or that it can influence people in a bad way, or politicians maybe?
I definitely think so, because as I've already said, it's so easy to publish something. So you can just go online, write something, and then say, that's the news for today. So it's really difficult to find correct news, so that you don't rely on fake news. So that's very dangerous, and as I've already said, I think it's important to check the source, and especially if you want to repost it or to send it to friends, or again post it that many others can see it as well. I think it's very difficult to check the source, to double check, so check the author and also check the date, and maybe look for different sources as well. But I think it's very difficult, and even in the article is even said that only 5% of the US adults have a lot of trust in the information online. So I think we are aware of the lack of reality, or not that there are fake news around. But it's still difficult to decide whether it is fake or not. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I think that we've covered everything for those two tasks, and now I want to ask you a few questions,
Okay.
as you're not in the expert role again anymore, so you're now Maria again. And media and communication, a very broad topic. You have mentioned that you read a lot of digital, or you're the expert, so in the expert role you mentioned it, but now I want to ask you personally, do you prefer the digital to the printed one, or was it just in your expert role, or?
No, I really prefer the digital ones because, yeah, first I have a small flat, and if I get a newspaper every day, there would be a lot of waste.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more convenient and also economically friendly to, yeah, use digital news. And I think it's also, yeah, I just like to look at it when I'm lying in bed, or before I go to sleep, just have a look at the news. And I think, yeah, it's handier for me. So I prefer digital news.
Okay. Do you read news every day?
Yeah, I try to. I try to read them every day, but sometimes I just scroll Facebook and yeah.
Okay.
But I try to, and yeah.
So it's very important for you to stay updated and...
Yeah, I want to know what's going on in the world, so I just try to read the news. Although it's a lot of times it's only frustrating, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we have to deal with it in a way.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for this exam, or for this interesting talk. And we're gonna now have a look into my notes. This should be, no. Yes. This should mean difficult to... difficult to evaluate, yeah. We skipped the introduction, so be sure the introduction, the warm-up. You can practice this introduction. It's very easy, will always stay the same. Be sure to practice it at home. It's very easy. You can record yourself with your iPhone camera or your other smartphone camera, and watch yourself, watch your intonation, watch your gesture, your posture, and be sure to be practice it. Not every day, but practice it, and then you will feel more confident during the exam. So task 1, I really liked, I forgot it actually with the last exam because she did it at the last exam too. I really liked the introduction, so you can, you can actually, you could see the line where she was in her expert role, or where she started the expert role. So she really was in the situation. So I really liked it. A proper introduction, dear parents, dear audience, so on and on. Yes, you know what I mean. Dear audience, and so on. Yes, then the first bullet point, what news media is, very, very detailed explanation. Couldn't have been better, actually. She even got further into the topic by mentioning the kinds of newspapers that are common in the UK, and she also explained the difference. So that was very good. So I really liked it. and she mentioned fake news and so on, also put it in a context. Different forms of news media, their pros and cons, goes a bit hand in hand what she first said. That was okay, of course. And then the last bullet point was all about the smartphone usage. And of course, if you're using any kind of news media service and with your smartphone, the format has to be different, since smartphones have a small screen. And yeah, and she also mentioned WhatsApp, the news media service on WhatsApp. For example, if you have I think you just have to enter your email. For example, with the Standard in Austria, you just have to enter your email address and you get your phone number, I think. Don't know how to-
both, I think.
Yeah. Add it, and then you get instant WhatsApp messages from Standard, what's going on out there. So if you want to stay informed, it's a good way and an easy way. You just have to unlock your screen and look at those different things that they send you, or the news basically. Then task 2, again, very relaxing talk, very informative even for me. She had a lot of hopefully has a lot of knowledge of the topic, so it wasn't any problem for her. Of course, that's the situation you want to have. Okay, sometimes it's possible to maybe stumble or can't remember a word. That doesn't make things worse. But if you're really, if you don't have that much to say, actually, it's not good for you. If the examiner always has to ask you questions, and the examinee can't even talk for 2 minutes by him or herself, that's not good. But in this case, Maria was awesome with the dialogue again. And yeah, I think we can't add anything that's negative. I wouldn't have recognized anything. We spoke about difficult to evaluate. We talked about, I can't remember, what was it, digital news. We talked about the fake news. Actually, we talked about how to differentiate fake from real news, which is a topic that is very it's very present nowadays. So you should have a look at fake news and all the aspects that involve fake news nowadays. Fake news, you know that fake news get posted all over and over again from politicians in Austria a lot of times, of course. We have some politicians, that like to post fake news because they think that fake news are real news. So they are not aware of media, of course. They don't know about it, but you should know about it since you're doing the A-levels. They all did the A-levels, but maybe they couldn't remember, or I don't know. Maybe it's about the digital age. And follow-up questions, again, nice, we're gonna tick that one. We're gonna just have a look if we have any comments.
No comments.
before we end our stream. No comments so far. That sums it up for today. We're gonna post the links in the description below. And yes, have a nice evening. We will see each other on Monday. And yeah, have a nice evening. Enjoy a nice cold beverage. And yeah, see each other on Monday. Bye bye.